We had millionaires when we weren't even allowed to succeed. Think about that for a minute. In an era when every system was designed to keep us down, to deny us our very humanity, we had brothers and sisters out here building empires, not just surviving, but thriving, creating generational wealth against all odds. These aren't just stories of financial success. They are powerful testimonies of resilience, brilliance, and an unbreakable spirit. We're talking about men and women who saw a future for themselves and for us, even when the world around them refused to see it. Their names should be as common in our households as any other historical figure, because their blueprints are essential for our future. This is the history they don't always teach you in school, the stories that got buried, overlooked, or intentionally erased. We're gonna dig them up, we're gonna dust them off, and we're going to shine a bright light on these incredible legacies. It's time to understand the strategies they used, the obstacles they overcame, and the communities they lifted up along the way. This isn't just about looking back, it's about claiming our inheritance of strength and ingenuity. When you know where you come from, you have a clearer vision of where you can go. So, get ready to be inspired. Get ready to be educated. We're about to walk in the footsteps of giants, the original visionaries who laid the groundwork for Black excellence. Their journeys are a masterclass in turning struggle into strength and oppression into opportunity. We owe it to them and to ourselves to know these names and speak them with pride. Learn the history, because in their stories, we find the keys to our own power and the motivation to build our own empires today. Now let's talk about a man who was royalty in the South long before they were ready to acknowledge a Black king. Robert Reed Church, the first Black millionaire in the South, built his fortune in real estate and became a pillar of his community. Born into slavery, his story wasn't supposed to end in triumph. But Robert Reed Church didn't read from their script. He wrote his own. After the Civil War, he saw opportunity where others saw ruin. He started buying property in Memphis, Tennessee, a city still reeling from conflict and disease. He had the vision to see the value in the land when no one else did, accumulating parcels of real estate that would become the foundation of his empire. He wasn't just buying land. He was buying back a piece of the freedom that was stolen from his ancestors. His business sense was legendary. When a yellow fever epidemic devastated Memphis in 1878 and the city went bankrupt, people fled. But not Robert. He stayed and he invested. He bought the first bond to help the city get back on its feet, a bold move that showed his commitment and his genius. He established Church's Park and Auditorium, a place where our people could gather, be entertained, and feel a sense of pride and belonging. It was a beautiful state-of-the-art facility in a time and place where Black people were barred from most public spaces. He created a sanctuary, a hub of culture and community that was all ours. Robert Reed Church didn't just build wealth for himself, he poured it back into his people. He founded the Solvent Savings Bank and Trust Company, the first Black-owned bank in Memphis, so that other Black entrepreneurs could get the capital they needed to start their own businesses. He understood that true power wasn't just about having money, but about creating systems that allow the entire community to prosper. He was a banker, a philanthropist, a community builder, and a true visionary. He showed Memphis and the world what a Black man could achieve with brilliance, courage, and a deep love for his people. Let's journey out west to the land of sunshine and dreams and talk about a woman whose spirit was as vast as the California sky. Biddy Mason, born enslaved, became a real estate mogul and philanthropist in Los Angeles, showing us the power of perseverance. Her story begins in bondage, walking over 1,700 miles from Mississippi to California. When she arrived, she learned that California was a free state and fought a courageous legal battle for her freedom and the freedom of her children. And she won. At 38 years old, with no money to her name, she started her life over, working as a nurse and midwife, saving every penny she could. Biddy was smart. She listened, she learned, and she had an incredible vision for the future of Los Angeles. With her first savings of $250, she bought her first plot of land on Spring Street. At the time, it was considered the outskirts of town, but Biddy saw its potential. She continued to work, save, and invest, buying and selling property as the city grew around her. She turned that initial investment into a fortune, becoming one of the wealthiest landowners in Los Angeles. She transformed herself from property into a property owner, a powerful statement of self-determination and economic freedom. She wasn't just building a portfolio, she was building a new life, a new legacy on her own terms. But here's the most beautiful part of Biddy's story. Her wealth had a purpose beyond herself. They called her Grandma Mason because she was the heart of her community. She opened her home as a refuge for the needy, fed the hungry, and paid the taxes and expenses for those who couldn't. In 1872, she organized the first African Methodist Episcopal Church, the first black church in Los Angeles, by hosting meetings in her own living room. She funded it, nurtured it, and helped it grow into a cornerstone of the community. Biddy Mason's legacy isn't just in the land she owned, but in the lives she touched and the community she built from the ground up with love, faith, and generosity. Now we head to the belly of the beast, New York City. We're talking about the cutthroat world of high finance in the 19th century, a place you would never expect to see a black man dominate. But they didn't know Jeremiah Hamilton. Known as the Prince of Darkness or the Black Wolf of Wall Street, Jeremiah Hamilton, Wall Street's first black millionaire, broke barriers as a shrewd financier in New York. He was a broker, a speculator, a man who played the game better than the men who invented it. He was feared and respected in equal measure, a testament to his undeniable skill and intimidating presence in a world that was built to exclude him. Hamilton's methods were audacious. He was known for his aggressive tactics, his sharp intelligence, and his ability to outmaneuver the most powerful white financiers of his day. He dealt in everything from counterfeit coins to insurance scams, but his real genius was in stock speculation. He understood the market's pulse, buying low, selling high, and amassing a fortune that was unheard of for anyone, let alone a black man in antebellum America. When his competitors tried to ruin him, he fought back with everything he had, using the legal system and his own sharp wit to protect his empire. He refused to be intimidated, refused to be pushed aside. He carved out his space on Wall Street through sheer force of will. His story is complex, and he wasn't a philanthropist in the way Biddy Mason was. He was a capitalist, pure and simple, but his very existence was an act of defiance. In a time when black people were considered property, Jeremiah Hamilton was buying and selling shares in the very companies that powered the American economy. He insured his investments against failure and collected when they did, turning disaster into profit. When he died, his obituary in a national newspaper called him one of the shrewdest and most successful of the Wall Street moneymakers, leaving behind a fortune worth millions in today's money. He proved that black minds were more than capable of mastering the most complex financial systems. Before the gold rush, before California was even officially part of the United States, there was a man of black and Danish descent who was already shaping its destiny. William Leidesdorff, a shipping magnate and one of the earliest black millionaires, helped shape San Francisco's future. His story is one of global ambition and pioneering spirit. He arrived in what was then the small village of Yerba Buena in 1841 as the captain of his own schooner, the Julia Ann. He saw the potential of this sleepy port and decided to make it his home, quickly becoming one of its most important and influential citizens. Leidesdorff was a man of many firsts. He built the city's first hotel, the City Hotel. He established the first commercial shipping warehouse. He organized the first horse race in California and served on the town's first city council. He was a diplomat, a public servant, and a visionary entrepreneur all rolled into one. He owned a massive 35,000-acre ranch and operated a steamship, the first one to ever sail on San Francisco Bay. He was instrumental in the transfer of California from Mexico to the United States, even serving as the American subconsul. He wasn't just participating in the economy, he was creating it. Tragically, William Leidesdorff died suddenly of brain fever in 1848, just before the gold rush transformed San Francisco into a global metropolis. He never got to see the full impact of his vision, but the seeds he planted grew into the mighty city we know today. After his death, the discovery of gold on his property made his estate unimaginably valuable, solidifying his status as one of America's first black millionaires. His legacy is written into the very streets of San Francisco. Leidesdorff Street in the financial district is named in his honor. He is a founding father of one of America's greatest cities, a reminder that our history is woven into the very fabric of this nation. Some people build fortunes with money, others build them with power and influence, using every dollar as a weapon for justice. That was Mary Ellen Pleasant, known as the mother of civil rights in California. She used her wealth to fight for justice and equality. Her story is shrouded in mystery and legend, which she cultivated herself. She arrived in San Francisco during the gold rush, a fierce and brilliant entrepreneur who built a portfolio of boarding houses, laundries, and restaurants. She was a master investor, taking financial tips from the wealthy white men she served and turning them into her own fortune, allegedly with the help of her partner, a white banker named Thomas Bell. But Mary Ellen Pleasant's goal was never just to be rich. Her goal was liberation. She was a conductor on the Underground Railroad, not in the East, but in California, helping enslaved people find freedom. She used her money and her influence to wage legal battles against segregation and discrimination. In one landmark case, she successfully sued a streetcar company for refusing to let her ride, a victory that set a precedent for desegregation in the state decades before Rosa Parks. She was a political organizer, a strategist, and a force to be reckoned with. She put her money where her mouth was, fighting for our rights in the courts and on the streets. They tried to tear her down, of course. The press called her Mammy Pleasant, trying to diminish her power and paint her as a sinister voodoo queen. But she refused to be defined by their hatred. On her tombstone, she had inscribed, "She was a friend of John Brown, the famous abolitionist." It said she gave him thousands of dollars to fund his raid on Harper's Ferry, a testament to her radical commitment to ending slavery by any means necessary. Mary Ellen Pleasant's legacy is a powerful reminder that wealth is a tool, and its greatest use is in the service of liberating our people and securing justice for all. Robert Reed Church, Biddy Mason, Jeremiah Hamilton, William Leidesdorff, Mary Ellen Pleasant. These are more than just names from a history book. They are blueprints for success, roadmaps for resilience. They teach us that our circumstances do not define our destiny. They showed us how to see opportunity in crisis, how to build community, how to fight the system from within, and how to use our resources to lift each other up. Their stories are a sacred inheritance, a source of incredible strength and inspiration that we can draw upon today. They built empires when the world gave them nothing. Imagine what we can build with the opportunities we have now. Their strategies were diverse: real estate, finance, entrepreneurship, philanthropy, but the core principle was the same: self-determination. They took control of their economic futures to secure their freedom and create a better world for the generations to come. That is the challenge they leave for us. It's not just about getting money, it's about what we do with it. It's about creating businesses, owning property, investing in our communities, and fighting for justice. Apply the strategy. Build the legacy. We must continue the work they started, ensuring that their struggle was not in vain. Let their lives be a call to action for every single one of us. Let's learn from their courage, their vision, and their unwavering belief in a future they were building brick by brick. We stand on the shoulders of these giants, and it is our duty to build higher. So, share these stories, talk about them with your children, your friends, your community. Let's honor their stories and keep building our own legacies. Follow Ascendia Legacy Group for more insights.